Hi everybody, it's Don, and I've got to ask a question about Cuba the last few days, and they're asking me why it's only seems to be the older ships going to the cruise ports in Cuba. And well, it's quite frankly a very easy answer. Unfortunately, because of the embargoes that have been on Cuba for so many years, they don't have the complexes or the industry right now to support the cruise ships. Their docking facilities and everything like that are not geared towards passenger ships at all. Their facilities aren't up to the standards that you see in Miami or Fort Lauderdale or Southampton or basically any place that the big cruise lines go. And in fact, they are so small that only the smaller ships can dock in the Cuban ports. They're not set up for ships like the Oasis or anything like that. So as much as the cruise lines would love, absolutely love to be able to bring in a big ship into those areas, they can't because there's no infrastructure there. And people say, well, okay, well, you're investing all this money, Royal Caribbean, and all your older ships and all things. Why not invest some money in Cuba? And that can be a risky proposition, right? Because it's all political. And so who knows what the political climate's going to do this year, next year, the year after. Are they going to suddenly say the embargo's back on and they're not allowed to go there anymore? If that happens and you just spent $300 million on a new port in Cuba, you've just wasted $300 million. So of course the cruise industry is very nervous about spending that kind of money to invest that. If this goes on for 5 and 6 and 7 years and things are smooth and more embargoes are lifted and things are going better, then you'll start to see the cruise industries investing in the ports. Until now, it's up to the Cuban government to invest that money, and right now they're not interested in doing that at all. So that's the big reason. There's not enough infrastructure. They don't support the large ships, and it's a very risky proposition to be investing that kind of money in Cuba right now, as much as the cruise lines would love to be able to do it. Carnival is expanding their Cuba cruises, adding more ships, and Royal Caribbean is doing the same, and other cruise lines that want to get into the Cuban cruising can't, because there's no place for their ships to go. They're just not small enough to do the ports. So it's just one of those things that it's going to take time for Cuba to catch up to the rest of the cruising industry, just because of, they haven't had the opportunity to have those cruise ships on the port. If you would have gone back quite a few years and go to Jamaica, you couldn't dock at any of the airports before neither, but you can now. So give them time. It'll happen as long as the political climate doesn't change. So there's your answer as why you're on the older ships, because they're the smaller ships. Any of the new ships being built now are much larger than the old ships used to be. But take heart, because both Carnival, Royal Caribbean are all renovating all of their older ships. Carnival's putting the Fun 2.0 ship improvements, Guy's Burgers, the Blue Iguana, things like that are all going on their ships. Royal Caribbean just announced they're putting multi-millions of dollars into their older ships. So take heart, at least the ships will be much more renovated and much more modernized if you're taking those ships to Cuba. And who knows what can happen in the future. We can only keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos and more travel tips, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.